Hello guys, you're welcome again back to my YouTube channel. My name is Gift and I'm your legal educator. Stay tuned as I bring to you this video. Now, do you guys remember this woman, Mrs. Osinachi, late Mrs. Osinachi? You know, she worshipped at Dunamis Center, a very talented, spiritually filled and gifted woman. You know, she used to minister then, even in Nigeria and outside Nigeria. Do you guys remember her? She was married to one Mr. Paul Nwachukwu, and I think she has 4 children for that man. Now, 3 years ago, it happened that we just heard that the woman is dead. Like, what killed her? People said it was cancer. Her husband said it was cancer, but we didn't really know what killed her. They were actually saying that she died of cancer, this type of cancer that affects the vocal boards, like the way you talk, the way you speak. Generally, it affects your voice. And I don't know if that's possible because she just ministered before we heard that news. Now, how can she actually die of a cancer like that? Considering that she just finished ministering before we heard the news. Her friends, her family, her loved ones, including her colleague, they all said that it's not true. They disputed that rumor and said that she died from domestic violence by her husband. When it was rumored that she died of cancer, her mother came online and granted an interview by the BBC Igbo that she did not die of cancer but was domestically abused by her husband, and that the treatment that the husband gave to her, even a slave cannot even go through such a treatment. You can imagine that. The mother said a lot of things. She was even saying that the man beat her even while she was pregnant, and that she can't even come for omugwo. You know, omugwo is a kind of Igbo traditional thing that when a woman puts to bed, the mother comes in to take care of the woman until she gets healed. That she couldn't even attend her daughter's omugwo. Can you imagine that, guys? Now, long after the mother granted the interview, her twin sister, it was even at that point I knew personally that she was a twin. Her twin sister came online and said the same thing, that her sister was going through a lot in the marriage, and that even herself, her twin sister, can't even visit them at their matrimonial home. The sister also mentioned that whenever she calls her, as long as the husband is in that house, she won't pick up the call. That even before they got married, she couldn't even do chief bridesmaid for her own sister because the husband said no. Instead, the husband looked for an outside person to do the chief bridesmaid. So this whole thing didn't even start now. It even started before they got married. But my dear, didn't she see the signs? I don't know. She also emphasized on the fact that this Osinachi, remember this her song, Ekuweme, you are the living. Remember how powerful that song is. She said that her sister would have gone so far in this business, but her husband keeps turning down proposal. You know why? She has to take permission from the husband before she goes any show or do any promotion. So the husband is the sole determinator of that her business or her ministry. Now, after the twin came online to speak, late Mrs. Osinachi's colleagues, they also came online and they were like narrating a story. There is this man, NDIC chairman, that heard her sing and fell in love with her administration and wanted to build a studio for her, but the husband said no. So that thing didn't even go through because the husband objected to it. I don't know how true this story is, but this were everything we heard when she died. The colleagues, they also came online and they were stating that this man comes to the studio to beat her up. Like they counted numerous experiences where they had the man come to the studio to attack her violently. Now, the Ministry of Women Affairs visited the home of this woman and met her children. So they also narrated their own story. Now, the children, one of them said that as at 12 years old, she couldn't read or write because of the chaos at home. This was really terrible. Like, I don't understand, how can someone live in this kind of environment for a 12 years old son or child couldn't read because of how the father physically abused the mother. It actually affected the psychology of these children. May God help us. The children, they narrated how the father beats their mother up with cane, mop, broom. At some even there's even the one they said that when she gave birth to the last child before she died, that the husband threw her out of the house. It was one of the child that came out to give her a wrapper with the child. What a horrible experience for a home. After the minister listened to the story from the side of the children, she almost cried. Who wouldn't, from children narrating a kind of horrible experience? I think those children actually need a therapist, because it's a lot to actually deal with. And now, on the 3rd day of June, same year, 2022, he was arrested and charged to court on a 23-count charge of culpable homicide. That's a capital offense, punishable with death. Now, when he was charged to court, normally they will arraign you and you plead either guilty or not guilty. So he pleaded not guilty. When the case got heated up, he started claiming in his own defense that it was cancer, that's the cancer of the lungs, that killed the wife, and not him or his abuse that killed the wife. Now, the prosecution, that's the lawyer representing the late deceased, brought 17 witnesses like Omo, the children, the siblings, the mother, IPO, medical expert. Many people came in and testified that it was his domestic violence that killed her. He also stated that he pleaded a no case submission, meaning he does not have a case to answer. You can just imagine. And at some point, there was a break in the prison and people thought he had run away. Like, a lot has really happened within these 3 years. Now, after the whole trial, evidences, addresses, and all that, the judge found him guilty of those charges. I think the judge handling the matter is a Federal High Court, Abuja, Justice Monsu, found him guilty, and he was sentenced to death. And not just death, death by hanging. May God really help us. Like, this domestic violence thing is a serious offense, and once you have a clue that you're in a relationship that is toxic and actually going through that kind of experience, please run for your life. Now, she is not here to actually testify, or she's not here to actually see what's going on. She's there, the husband is about to die, and leaving the children that are just so wounded and bruised. I think those children should be taken to a good therapeutic section and maybe shown more love. Let them see that there are people that can actually love people without abuse or violence of any sort, because those children have really been through a lot. Guys, what do you think? Do you think he deserves to be in the custody? Do you think life imprisonment wouldn't have been a better option or a better fine? Do you think death by hanging is better for him? Do you also think he will actually be hanged? Let me know. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. And do well to subscribe. And thank you very much for watching. Stay cool. Bye.